want to tell you about a new technique of thinking in chess. The main ideas and principles of this technique are described in the book Chuzhakin's system. You can download the demo version in the PDF format from the official website. The most important chapters, which will let you learn the basics of the system and start using it in practice, are uploaded to the internet. You can also get a lot of important information about the technique from the forums, where this book is under active discussions. You can also study the system using video lessons on YouTube. You can subscribe to the channel and receive new video notifications. We are going to launch several basic lessons and discuss interesting modern games in the light of this technique. The main idea of the system is optimization of thinking. Using it, it's not necessary to monitor all interactions of 16 pieces and 16 pawns which occur on 64 squares. The system will reveal a limited number of the so-called hazardous elements, on average 3 to 7 for each side, and will allow you to concentrate your attention on them. In other words, we are talking about the reduction of information which should be processed. What advantages will the system give to a chess player? It will considerably reduce the number of blunders, especially combination oversights. First of all, it does not concern sharp tactical calculations, but relatively peaceful maneuver positions, where a chess player mostly pays attention to strategic motives of the game development and his combination vision becomes blurred. The system will allow playing with more confidence, because a chess player realizes that he does not make blunders and can see the whole short tactics in advance. This saves time and increases psychological resistance. The technique will tell you what exactly should be calculated behind the board. It allows you to mathematically discover the basic tactic elements of a position and concentrate your attention exactly on them. The unique advantage of the technique is that it shows where there won't be any tactics. The system will tell you where you can find unexpected combinations, especially the ones which are connected with poor positions of chess pieces. It will show what arrangement of pieces can be poor and cause a forced tactic play. The technique will recommend reliable moves in poor positions where you have no time and no strength to calculate all attacking potentials of your opponent. Another important advantage of the system is its positional component, which in the author's opinion is a new positional principle. Creating hazardous elements for your opponent and defending your own hazardous elements in due time, you can strategically maneuver in forcing your opponent to make a mistake. The technique includes a set of clear-cut rules for calculations of hazardous elements and typical methods of using them. Any possible tactics will surely start with hazardous elements. We give special attention to the fact that the number of hazardous elements should be calculated as little as possible. This is very important for optimization of thinking. Let us see an example. Here you can see a position from the game Shevchenko vs Arkhireva, white move. This example will allow us to assess: first, how to calculate hazardous elements. Second, understand special rules for calculations of attacks and defenses. Third, discover typical techniques for searching tactics. Third, hazardous elements of black should be calculated from left to right and bottom up. B7. The pawn is not under attack and is not protected. This is calculation rule 3. C5. The bishop is not under attack and is not protected. This is rule 3. E5. The knight is protected one time and is under attack one time. This is also rule 3. H7. The square under attack near the king is always regarded as a hazardous element as per rule 9, intrusion square. G8. The king that has squares under attack near it is a hazardous element according to rule 7. We recommend checking a detailed description of all rules in the introduction chapters of the book. Use the following rules when calculating hazardous elements. when it is necessary to understand how many pieces attack and how many of them defend the square on the chessboard. An attack on the element is counted when it is a direct one, and is also counted, that is added, if between the attacking piece and hazardous element there is a piece or a pawn of the attacking side, which can move out of its way and expose the line of attack. When calculating hazardous elements, the value of defending pieces is not taken into account. For example, if the queen attacks a pawn which is protected by another pawn, the attack is counted. An attack with a pinned piece or a pawn is also counted. Defense by a piece or a pawn which is pinned or attacked at the moment is not counted. Defense by a piece which can be attacked by a pawn or a piece of smaller value, that is with tempo, is not counted either, if after retreating they will not be able to protect the point which is calculated at the moment. It is necessary to note that attacks and defenses are counted in different ways for further calculation of hazardous elements. An attack has an advantage over defense. For instance, an attack by a pinned piece is counted, but defense by a pinned piece is not. Taking into account the rules mentioned above, we can see that the queen on d7 is attacked by the white queen through the friendly bishop on d3. Protection of the black queen by the knight on e5 is not counted, because it is attacked by the white bishop. The white rook attacks the black knight on f6 through the friendly bishop on f4. Consequently, its protection properties are not taken into account. Total: the queen on d7 is attacked 1 time and protected 0 times, so it is a hazardous element and it allows white to create a combination. The bishop captures on e5, the rook captures e5. The rook captures f6, and if black captures on f6, they will lose the queen after capturing the white bishop on the hazardous element h7. If black protects the queen by moving rook d8, white will retreat with the rook to f3, having an extra piece. Pay attention that before attacking the queen, white plays against the pieces which protect it. Attacking protecting pieces and pawns is a typical technique of the game against hazardous elements. Here let me finish the short presentation. Watch our lessons. By subscribing to the channel on YouTube, you will receive new video notifications. Thank you for your attention.